I'm an illustrator in 12-step recovery, and I've been making a series of drawings based on definitions of words found in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, looking them up in a dictionary that was current when that book was written. But this series is different. This does not come from Alcoholics Anonymous or the book or the program. It's a question I hear from time to time from all sorts of different people who want to know, is 12-step recovery religious or not? And that's the name of this series. To answer that question, which I have no qualifications to answer, I turned to Webster's 1934 dictionary to see how Webster's, as kind of a disinterested third party, would define religion. And here it is. It's a long one. Religion is the service and adoration of God or a God as expressed in forms of worship in obedience to divine commands, especially as found in accepted sacred writings or as declared by recognized teachers, and in the pursuit of a way of life regarded as incumbent on true believers. That's not me. That's talk to the editorial board of Webster's dictionary for that very long definition, the longest one I've found in all the words I looked up. So, what does that have to tell us about 12-step recovery? Well, I looked up the word true. Now remember, true believers are supposed to do this, they're supposed to do that. True believers, not those fake believers. So the true participants in 12-step programs. Here's the definition of true. Steady in adhering to friends, promises, allegiances, or the like. Steady in adhering to friends, promises, allegiances, or the like. First thing I'll say is a lot of people, before they reach a 12-step program, are anything but these things. They're not necessarily acting like good friends. They're not keeping their promises. They're not honoring their allegiances or anything of the like. And the 12-step program has to be worked. And if you are blessed and lucky enough, you will be sober. They say it works if you work it, but you got to work it every day. So the sentence again from the definition was, you're pursuing a way of life that is incumbent upon true believers. And I would say, I could see how that would be true of a religion, but I can say I do believe that is true of people in 12-step groups, or the program as it's generally conceptually defined and often practiced, that you're steady, you're adhering to your friends in the program, you're obeying the promises or seeking promises from the program. That's a lot of your motivation for working recovery, is to experience the promises that are made by the literature. Your allegiances, which I haven't looked up the word, but it basically means organizing together to accomplish a goal. That happens. Groups do work together. Often in one city, you'll see just a number of groups, all of which are dedicated in general to working 12-step recovery, but they're different, separate, independent groups, and so they have allegiances to a recovery that is independent of each other. So this drawing, I now have to just briefly stop and say, this one makes my heart break every time I see it. You've probably been looking it over and have probably figured out the scene that's happening here. Prison, prisoner, dangerous prisoner, prisoner who really has come to grips with the fact that all of this is no accident. They are doomed to what has happened to them, and yet, and yet, and yet, someone with gentleness and grace and love has come to this god-awful place. There's her cane. We don't know if I say her because it looks like my grandmother's hand. Old-fashioned clothing, a lot of years of living. And she's the one who still shows up, despite him fully deserving everything that's happened to him. She's remaining true to him, or true to who she remembers him being. It's implied that she probably knew him when he was younger, much younger, maybe even a child. And she still sees him that through that positive light, despite everything that everyone else sees about him. And in religion, I would have to say aspects of that may or may not show up. I'm not an expert on religion, but I can say in my decades of experience in 12-step recovery, this definition of true is very desired and sought after in 12-step recovery. Friends, promises, allegiances, or the like. So that would argue in favor of the 12 steps sharing qualities, certain qualities of religion. You can read more at 12drawings.com, especially what my conclusion was on this subject. Thanks so much for listening.